president said, I'd have rolled my eyes, but I ain't said it. They'd never know, because I'm not going to talk against that person, and I'm not going to, and I know the guy done pulled off a few funny things, and I'm not going to talk about it, especially when they dead. Actually, Mom's maid said about some guy, if you're supposed to say something about somebody that's dead, he's dead, good. You know, you're supposed to say something good about it. Anyway, Iran is in a unique situation now. Okay, we've been together all of this period. But now I'm talking to the people. We're going to pass this out at the IEC this coming Thursday. So I want to try to fill you in on a few things that's been going on, and maybe upgrade a little bit on a few other things. And if you want to help donate to what we're doing, we're going to be out there the Thursday after next with boxes and what have you after Dua Komil on Thursday night. Well, actually Friday morning in Islam. So we'll be out there. And we want you to help. If you don't, no problem. Let me say this again. If you don't, no problem. We love you anyway, because that's the policy we had to develop in America. Project Imam Hussein in America. Project Imam Hussein. This was some several years ago, and I passed that out at one of the last programs that I attended with, what is it, the Muslims of North America, Shia brothers. I helped start the doggone thing. Muslim Alliance. Muslim Alliance. Not, is that Muslim Alliance? Muslim Congress. Yeah, that's them. That's Muslim Congress. Indo-Pakistani brothers. Boy, we used to be such good friends. The last program I attended, I was on the podium with Medea Benjamin. And she had wrote a book about Saudi Arabia or something, and I gave my view on whatever we was talking about. And then they asked her, what does she think about what I just said, you know? And after she answered, I briefly told them that y'all got to get your heads on straight, you know, about who's who. And not lose your self-respect and, you know, and stuff like that. They haven't invited me since, but that's what I told them. I was serious. I said, what are you doing after she done said something? I done said something, she said something, then you want to come back and put my analysis, and she just, at that time, I said, that's it for the brothers. The brothers, in other words, their old program that they had in the U.S. First of all, Muslim Congress, we helped start that 2004 and during those years. And we were the main speaker for at least 10 years, good 10 years or more. Because there was nobody popular enough to galvanize, you know. For instance, I went around to all of them and all their places. And so they asked me to help get it rolling. because I was better known than anybody. But I noticed some years later that something that was natural, you would start inviting more Shia speakers that talk the exact same language from the same racial and ethnic background as the people. But I noticed the attitude change. It was different than, this is our hero, this is our friend, he's putting his life on the line for us, da 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 da. So we know who he is, we know, and we've heard over the decades, and everybody was in on it. All the parents, the children, everybody. But I began to notice that there was some differences. The same thing with Iranians. Remember, the good guys, all the good serious about it, when they graduate, they going back home. Okay, remember there's Savakis here. That means Savak agents here. When the Shah falls, all those agents here, especially ones that was here to monitor, right? MSA, PSG, and all those others, okay, they had to regroup because their structure is finished. So my idea is they regroup with the FBI. They regroup with the FBI. And they let the FBI know we are da-da-da-da-da. And so I try to remember this. When I was busted upside the head and really, couldn't even talk and stuff like that, they had a program at the same time with Marzia Hashemi that's supposed to be put in jail. And nobody even called me on the phone. Nobody did. That was when it was clear. Now, Marzia Hashemi, she was married to an Iranian who got killed, and she went on back to Iran and moved up. She took Shahada in our Masjid in 82, and she's been a part of this all along. As far as I'm concerned, she's a United States agent and always have been from day one. All of them, that whole crew, Crescent, Marzia, them, they've all been a collective. Margbag America, Bahram Nahidian, right out there. Y'all all know this old geezer. Look, you could ask people in our movement from I don't know when. I got a call yesterday from a brother we was going to go see Abdul Haq. He remembers Bahram causing trouble back in their day. That's back in the 70s. There's old Bahram. All the Negroes around here in those days, first they were Sunnis, Bahram eased up on them, right? And before you know it, the brothers are Shias. Now, to me, it doesn't make a difference. But to everybody else, hey, man, them Iranians coming and they trying to, so it was bad publicity. Okay? If you take all the institutions over here, if you take our brother who I spent time with every time I went to Iran, now they say that he dressed up as a postman in 1980 and shot this Iranian general and went to Iran. They had a few TV programs. He did interviews with him in Iran. He made a few movies, Kandahar and stuff like that. And Used to be tall and slender. 180, maybe 190 pounds. I tend toward one. Martial artist, top of the line. That was all the time that I knew him, except the last time when I saw him. He came to visit me. He weighed a minimum of 400 pounds. A minimum of 400 pounds. So maybe one of the programs related to trying to get back, to the U.S., but there's no way he could do that. So what about the people that maybe arranged this? I'm not going to mention his name this time, but I'm going to mention it next week. Because see, I've spent time, every time I went over, I would hang with him. Not only language, but he'd take me everywhere. All the groups, any group. He also worked for Kehan International at that time. Kehan Inglesia. He worked for Kehan in English. That was a big newspaper. I don't know if they printed in English. They still printed in Arabic and Farsi, I'm sure. But he would give me frontline space, a whole centerfold, and I'm talking about the National Negro, people like that and stuff like. So we were friends. And I know what happened here in the United States. I actually know what happened. Okay. But it's criminal for somebody to misuse and abuse people and then don't cover their back. You know what I mean? You get them a ticket and you get them out of the country and you give them a place to stay for the rest of their life. And they get so depressed that they eat themselves. There's a reason for that. And if this happens within a year's time, if you see somebody this year and they thin as a rail, ready to fight, not ready, but ready to go, still in top shape, and a year later, you won't even, that's him. And Muhammad Al-Asi was at that program, and he came up to my room, or he came by the room or something, and he saw him, and they talked for a while. Now, when I came here for my first speech in 1984 out at the IAC, when it was over, I looked across the parking lot and I saw a light-skinned Iranian coming toward me. And of course, you can't do this, but the kind of way I did, I knew he was the police then. Before, when I looked at him and he was looking at me and he was headed my way, oh, come on out. I'm telling you. And it proved to be right because I could see how he slicked up on the immature brothers that was here. Oh, rubbing them on the back. Oh, giving them a little something they need. What he thought the hook was with me was, hey, you need a place to stay. So he had charge of the Muslim house on 16th Street. So I gave khutbah there so just imagine, I come from Oakland, I got a place to give khutbah and a place to stay for all that the end of the summer up until the winter time. And so, when finally I had to move, hey, why don't you come on out to the farm? I said, I'm not in no shape. I just find a place around here. And so I was looking. In the meantime, I had to move my books, you know. So he said, you could bring the books out to my garage out on the farm. So I said, okay. So we took one of the brothers' truck and I put them in my, little car or whatever the thing, a station wagon, and we went on out to the farm. So he said, so this is the farm. And I looked, I said, this is the farm. And technically I didn't have a place to stay, you know. So I said, I think I'll take you up on that offer. So it was 32 acres. I'm out there by myself, and I could come